from Washington, this is VOA News. An emergency UN meeting in response to Russia's parliament approval of military forces in Ukraine. And a ceasefire by the Pakistani Taliban. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting from Washington. The United Nations says now is the time for cool heads to prevail in Ukraine, as Russian lawmakers approved Vladimir Putin's request to send troops to Crimea, while Ukrainian Ambassador Yuriy Sergeyev told an emergency session at the UN Security Council Saturday that 15,000 Russian troops are already in Crimea under the pretense of protecting Russian citizens. He said Ukraine is calling on the UN to do everything possible to stop what he calls aggression against Ukraine. Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin blamed the West for ratcheting up tensions in Ukraine and backing protests that ousted President Viktor Yanukovych. Churkin said President Putin has not yet decided whether to authorize a military force in Crimea. He said such a move would not be against Ukraine, but only on the territory of Ukraine to protect Russian lives. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, said Russian actions speak louder than words. The White House says President Barack Obama held a long telephone conversation with President Putin Saturday, expressing deep concern for what it calls the clear violation of Ukrainian sovereignty and international law. In Moscow, James Brooke has more on the most recent moves by Russia into Crimea.
Russian President Vladimir Putin prepared Saturday to officially send troops to Ukraine's Crimea after the upper house of parliament voted to approve the move. Putin's decision to send troops to Ukraine came after an appeal by Crimea's new pro-Russian leader for soldiers to patrol the predominantly Russian-speaking peninsula. If occupation turns to violence, Ukraine's central government has its own levers. It could cut off a water pipe from the continent that is a primary source of drinking water to Crimea. And Russia can expect sanctions from the West, Russia's major trading partner. James Brooke, VOA News, Moscow.
More on this story at voanews.com. 2 bombs exploded in a crowded marketplace in northeastern Nigeria Saturday. A reporter for VOA said the bomb blasts went off minutes apart in Maiduguri at a cinema that was packed with fans watching an international football match. Officials have not yet reported casualties from Saturday's explosions, but the Reuters news agency cites witnesses as saying at least 10 people were killed. No one has claimed responsibility for that attack. Taliban insurgents in Pakistan Saturday unilaterally declared a 1-month ceasefire, a move seen as a bid to revive a troubled peace dialogue with the government. At the same time, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is said to be ready to order a full-scale military offensive against militant bases in and around the volatile North Waziristan tribal district on the Afghan border, where local and foreign extremists are entrenched. VOA's Ayas Gul reports from Islamabad.
The announcement seems to have injected new life into efforts Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has undertaken to bring an end to years of militant violence in Pakistan. An outlawed alliance of extremist outfits, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP, is leading a bloody insurgency against the state that has killed thousands of people, including security forces, and caused huge financial losses to an already fragile national economy. On Saturday, the militant organization announced a month-long cessation in attacks. In a statement released to media outlets, the TTP leadership has instructed all subgroups to comply with the ceasefire. Ayaz Gul for VOA News, Islamabad.
At least 28 people are dead and more than 100 wounded after a stabbing rampage in China. Unidentified men dressed in black carried out the assault on a train station in the southern city of Kunming. Official Chinese media call the attack an organized and premeditated act of terrorism. Egypt has sworn in a new cabinet. Ibrahim Matlab, picked as the new prime minister Tuesday by interim President Adli Mansour, decided to keep some of the former ministers in his new government, including Egypt's army chief Abdel Fattah el-Sisi as defense minister and Mohammed Ibrahim as interior minister. In Bangkok, Thailand's capital city, anti-government protesters were taking down their protest stages and cleaning up the streets and graffiti Saturday. The cleanup came after one of the protest leaders declared an end to the Shut Down Bangkok movement on Friday evening and said protesters would withdraw from several stages at key intersections around Bangkok. For more on these and other stories, visit us at voanews.com 24 hours a day. I'm Vincent Bruce, VOA News, reporting from Washington.